Another verbal, participles. They either have an ed ending on them or an ing ending on them. The verbals are verbs that you would normally think of as verbs, action words, or state of beings, but they do not function as the verb, the main verb of the sentence. They actually function as modifiers, most of the time adjectives. Let's take a look at some examples. The shouting crowds disturb the peaceful town. First, look for your subject and verb. The shouting crowds disturbed. Okay, you can disturb. And what disturbed? The crowds. You can shouting too, but in this case, there is no verb that comes, there's no subject with this particular word, shouting. It's the crowds that disturbed because of the shouting. They are shouting crowds. So this could have been a verb, but it isn't used as the main verb of the sentence, that is. So this one now becomes a modifier. It's an adjective. It's functioning as an adjective describing the crowds. Playing on the beach, the children made sand blocks. All right, we're drawn to the playing because you certainly can do that as an action. But who's playing? Well, you might say, well, the children are playing, and that's true, but there's a better verb in here, and it follows it. Children made. Playing now is describing the children. In fact, playing on the beach, it's the phrase. It's a whole verbal phrase that has a present participle in it, and it modifies the children. So this is an adjective. Frightened by the thunder, Muffy hid under the bed. We're drawn to frightened, but there isn't a subject before it. It could be farther in the sentence, but let's see if we can find it. Frightened by the thunder, Muffy hid. I'm drawn right here to Muffy and hid. They're right next to each other. This follows the pattern much better. Because Muffy didn't frighten, Muffy hid. So this has to be a participle. It has an ed ending on it. It's a past participle. And that is a modifier of Muffy. Again, we have adjective here. Since we're doing sentence variations, if we switched some of the words around in this thought here about frightened Muffy, we could come up with Muffy, frightened by the thunder, hid under the sofa. Subject, verb. And this participle, this past participle, the phrase itself modifies poor kitty again.